All right. Let's see. Where are we? Yes. Well, let me say this. For those of you who are new to the series, a little over 15 years ago, our next reader decided to channel all of the lunacy in the Hudson Valley and create a poetry series right in this building. He is Jim Eve.
I'm going to read two poems that only 5 people in this room probably heard more than once. So, and it's also revealing because a lot of the stuff I write is personal and it's all over the place. But you know, John wrote something that touched me tonight, and there's people here that have known me for 15 years. And they really don't know me, you know, because they don't know what my personal life was like. But in my poems, if you read any of my poems or listen to my poems, a lot of my personal life comes out in them. And this one deals with depression and suicide. Free. To not know where you belong, to feel you belong in another era in time, to carry an emptiness that festers on the heart and mind, to forsake God because you feel forsaken, to have your world spun, your life forsaken, forever shaken, to think deep thoughts and go tripping on toxic emotions, to look at yourself and not have a notion of who you are or what you want to be, to live a life knowing only that you want to be free from who or what you may ask. Surely you would be taking me to task, but I can only answer without equivocation, to be free from myself and feelings of damnation that I am a lost brother, which has nothing to do with skin pigmentation. Just manifestations of being the only dead fish in a living sea. I cry out to a supposed God, give me liberty, knowing I don't want to die to obtain it. That was early 90. This one tells a lot about me as what I do as a poet, and I consider myself more a host than a poet. So, and Robert had heard this. So, I'm a poetic straight man. I've been to the New York Cafe, the mecca of East Coast poetry, listening to the elite poets on the New York City scene, listening to the upcoming poets with metaphor stars gleaming in their eyes. I've been to many East Village poetry venues, done an open mic or two, feeling terribly out of place. I'm a poetic straight man, a poet without flair, no constant rhythmic pounding to my verse, no ghetto blaster release of my words. I don't rant, rave, seldom curse. I simply read my verse at times terse, with only the modulation of my voice. I'm not a performance poet. I don't memorize my lines. I read from stationery held in nervous hands, so nervous I screw up at times. I'm a poetic straight man, a poet without flair. I don't hip-hop or bebop on a small stage, where lights like a force field hold the audience at bay. I don't let performance antics get in the way of the words and the contents of what I say. I straight up muse. Please don't be confused by no distractions. There's only me, my words, my poems. I'm just a poetic straight man, a poet without flair, who may never, ever get noticed. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, I'm going to read now, and I just want to remind you that we had 2 featured poets this evening. So thanks to Jane Ormerod, who is now probably safely tucked away back down in New York City via train, and to Donald Lev, who is still in the building. Thank you both. Also, this is important to note, there will be no reading in July because it is July the 4th and we shan't be here. We will return again on the 1st of August at 8 p.m. Roberta Gould is a featured poet, and I will be reading as a featured poet. So I hope you come back. I'll also have a new chapbook with me that day. And then the day after, this is the big one, folks, the Calling All Poets Marathon, starting at noon and running until probably after 11 p.m. We have about 40-some poets featured. So Jim might want to say something?
Yeah, unfortunately on that day I won't be there, and Robert and Mike and Larry and a whole bunch of others will probably be running the show, so I want everybody to enjoy themselves. Glenn will also be there. Please come out if you're participating. Please come prepared to read your stuff. There will be refreshments, and enjoy yourself. But again, I apologize. I've had a prior commitment, and I'm going to be away on vacation.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll miss you, Jim. And for those of you who have never been to the Calling All Poets Marathon, this is the 6th annual coming up, and it's a lot of fun. It's amazing how fast the years go. A lot of you in this room are going to be featured poets that day. It's 10 minutes apiece, and if you have books, chapbooks, CDs, other ephemera, you can put them out on the pianos, and it's a lot of fun. We want you to tell your friends and supporters, etc., and your enemies. Bring everybody you can, and we'll have a lot of fun. All right. Well.
Are we doing any donations with at the door to raise money for the food?
Yeah, we're asking for whatever people can, so we'll have the jar out there. Yeah, whatever they want to throw in.
I got to interrupt
That's
Robert.
fine. It's still early.
He's making his announcements.
Yeah, what do you have?
All right.
I didn't do the art announcement that you wanted me to do.
Yeah, well, no.
All right, that's all right.
The next open mic poet, Robert Melby.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Would have never known.
Well, now I put everybody to sleep with my rivaling of Garrison Keillor. So, going back to the 1st of June, John Masefield was born in England in 1878. Too bad Jane Omerod's not here. Wilfred Owen, born in Canada, not the other Wilfred Owen, 1861. Mikhail Glinka, for all you classical music lovers, he's actually a romantic, born in Russia in 1804. The anniversary of the death of the British poet John Suckling, 1642, and he's noteworthy for this reason, because of the intrigue. Someone poisoned him. He died at age 33. How about that? What?
Love interest, bro.
Quite possibly. Andrei Voznesensky, there's a big loss for the poetry world, died in 2010, the great Russian poet. On the 2nd of June, I have to mention it, the Marquis de Sade was born in 1740, that is a fact. That's not his real name, of course, and I'm not going into it. Thomas Hardy, 100 years later, Thomas Hardy in 1840, you know where. Yeah. Hagen Smith, some of you know Hagen Smith. Now get a load of this. Where's Jim? Jim, Hagen Smith on the 2nd of June just turned the big 5-0. I know, it's hard to believe. No, it's true. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, imagine that. I knew him when he was about 31. My God. Yep, Hagen Smith.
We don't get older, only the others.
Exactly so. I don't know where he is tonight, but he should be here. On the 3rd of June, Robert Hillier, American poet. People have forgotten him, unfortunately. Born in 1895. Here's a guy I've never heard of, Allen Ginsberg, born in 1926. He's not here right now, but our friend Robert Phelps, it was his birthday, and he had to leave early. He read earlier, you may recall, so he left. And Georges Bizet's death in 1875. Okay, and it was Carmen's fault. I'd better quit while I'm ahead, right? On the 4th, we have American poet Harry Crosby, born in 1898. At least no cracks about Bing Crosby, thank you very much. But if you've ever read Hart Crane, and I hope you have, don't come in this room if you haven't, at least read Harry Crosby. They all hung out together, F. Scott Fitzgerald and Zelda, and Harry Crosby, out of that whole crew, was the only one who committed suicide. So 1898, he was born, by far one of the most radical poets of his day, Harry Crosby. Okay. On the 5th, we have Federico Garcia Lorca, born in Spain. There we are. 1898, the anniversary of the death of Stephen Crane of the poet's disease, the other poet's disease. Died in 1900. He was, 31, 29? What's that?
He was a puppy.
Yeah, I think he was 29. And it wasn't Maggie, a girl of the streets' fault, if you're wondering. All right. So David Wagoner, the American poet, born 1926. This is for all you Geminis out there. You know who you are. The great Carl Maria von Weber died in 1826. To me, that's a big loss for the music world. On the 6th, which is today, we have Maxine Kumin, born in 1925. She died recently. I've forgotten the year, but today is her birthday. What's that?
This year.
Was it already this year she died? My word, I must have blinked. Thank you, Donald. So Maxine Kumin and Anne Sexton are smiling down from heaven, I suppose, on us. All right. I am. Thank you, Steve Cannon. So I was down there back in 1996 at Gathering of the Tribes. Jim, you'll love this. And people said, you got to meet Steve Cannon. I said, finally, I get to meet Steve Cannon, right? And so we sat on a couch at Tribes for over an hour discussing what? People said, poetry? I said, no, bass fishing. So much for poetry. Yeah, no kidding. For over an hour, probably an hour. Yeah, never got to talk poetry with him. Okay, this is about Thomas Hardy's first wife, and this was published 1913. She opened the door. She opened the door of the West to me, with its loud sea lashings and cliffside clashings of waters rife with revelry. She opened the door of romance to me, the door from a cell I had known too well, too long till then, and was fain to flee. She opened the door of a love to me that past the wry world welters by as far as the arching blue, the lee. She opens the door of the past to me, its magic lights, its heavenly heights, when forward little is to see. Thomas Hardy. All right. And one of mine, so we can all go home. All right. This begins with just a tiny epigraph from A Ballad of Life by Algernon Charles Swinburne. And I think I'm the only person who's still reading Swinburne. I wish you would. And kiss thee with soft laughter on thine eyes, ballad, and on thy mouth. Swinburne. The Ballet of Time. She played piano for him as he stood in the foyer, dreams of a late Victorian house above a large river she crossed but could not comprehend. This was winter, when a man of letters, a laborer of days, spent translating ghost soliloquies before night's recitation at cafes and libraries. She played piano for him, an infant of time, conjured by a prescient mother, wife of a teacher, called forth at a haunted coffee house on a bleak night in December. Annus mirabilis, to end in dance, in song, in romance. The dream, a charmed cafe in winter, words cast to weather, a challenge, a dare across ages, following the poet, inviting local histories and forgotten yarns of lives in a Tory village. She played piano for him, scattering notes and verses as her hearth spoke and winter walked under a door. She played muse for the poet, dancing on the Saturday morning glow of snow-conferred landscape brought from antique reveries, serving strong coffee and repast in a tiny kitchen before departure. She played ballerina, scattering his quills, ink, and papers beneath her slippers as spring challenged a frozen mountain. Its heirloom jewelry in reach, but melting from oak branches as the notes ceased. Dance ended, piano closed, and the poet's foil was lost to the fencer from New England. The Ballet of Time danced on the piano in her father's house, a dream shaken from her dark hair, chased from ghost council, like a visitor from Porlock, breaking the poet's fancy with no proof such a city had ever existed above the river, where a granite fortress still stands. Thank you. We'll see you next time, which is officially the 1st of August at 8 p.m. Correct.
Anybody
Get
that's
ready.
interested tomorrow, well, you see all the pictures. The exhibit that's opening up tomorrow, it's called Pets, and it's photos of all the animals that we love and we hold as pets. That's here tomorrow. The opening is from 3 to 5, if you're interested. Again, first Friday in August, we will have CAPS, and then the CAPS Marathon is on the 2nd, which is the day after. Please come if you're participating. Thank you for joining and involving yourself in what we do as CAPS. Another thing is we are still taking membership. If you want to be part of CAPS, we have CAPS membership. We have the web page. You can go in there and get information off the web page, where you will see all kinds of things posted, including what's happening here, poems of the members and bios of the members, and a whole bunch of stuff. So we're doing more than being just a reading. We're branching out, and there's a lot of things that I will not go into tonight, but in the future you will hear more about what CAPS is doing, and what's the word the government likes to use, the politics? Transparency. We'll have some more transparency about what CAPS is doing coming in the near future. So thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
We hope to see you in August. And
Does that mean you're going to make this perfectly clear?
that's it. But don't. You taping this, Larry? You got to lose 18 minutes, man.
Okay.
So if you're coming in August, again, Friday is the first reading in August, and then the marathon. And thank you for all coming out tonight. I appreciate it, and keep supporting us, because we're moving forward, and we're getting bigger and better. Thanks again. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.